Welcome to This Week in Boomtown on 10 TV Plus. Every day, we look at the growth of Central Ohio with our Boomtown series. No doubt, we will all feel the impact. From traffic to new homes to overcrowded schools, the rapid growth is coming. So this week, Columbus Mayor Andrew Ginther doubled down on affordable housing. We look at how much money the city plans to spend in the newly released budget for next year. Plus, a new tiny home development is offering a fresh start for people experiencing homelessness. See how this innovative project in Southeast Columbus is changing lives. And last week, we sat down with the CEO of CODA to talk about the newly passed LinkUS initiative. This week in Boomtown, we're focusing on how that community is now reacting to the new plan. Thanks for joining us for This Week in Boomtown. I'm Angela Ann. Now, with Columbus projected to add 1 million people by the year 2050, where will they all live? Mayor Andrew Ginther says he's committed to more affordable housing, and a key priority in his operating budget for next year is just that. $4.3 million is dedicated to pay staff to handle the bonds and the grants for affordable housing. There is $83 million right now that need to be given out, and that's what those employees will be in charge of deciding. Earlier this year, Columbus City Council approved updated zoning codes to open up more housing development options. Mayor Ginther says residential building permits are expected to go up 21% this year. Ginther also says the new housing will help drive out bad landlords.
Our housing shortage is enabling bad landlords to exploit vulnerable neighbors, charging too much and offering too little at properties like Latitude 525 or Colonial Village.
The mayor claims the city's modified building codes will allow an additional 88,000 new homes over the next decade, with $10 million more going to human service grants to help people who are struggling to make ends meet, including housing. Well, also this week, a new affordable housing development is coming specifically for homeless veterans in Columbus. Construction is now more than halfway through the $26 million project you see right there. It's called Broadlee Lofts, and it's being built on Allegheny Avenue in East Columbus, right across the street from Afrocentric High School. Here are some more details to what's coming. The buildings are 3 stories with 25 apartments reserved for veterans experiencing or at risk of homelessness.
We have over 600 plus veterans homeless within the state of Ohio, and we're very passionate about making a difference. I suffered injuries that resulted in 100% disability, but fortunately I'm able to work, I'm able to continue on. That's not the case with most veterans.
We can also tell you that 59 units will be reserved for anyone earning less than 80% of Franklin County's median income. That's around $55,000 a year for a 1-person household. Now, leasing is expected to begin late next spring, and the Veterans Administration will decide who can apply for that housing. Well, as Central Ohio's population grows by the day, the lack of affordable housing is a really big concern. The latest data from the Community Shelter Board shows homelessness increased almost 2% in the past year. 10 TV's Kevin Landers shows us one solution to Central Ohio's housing crisis.
So this is what a typical house looks like.
This is Vista Village.
We have 41 total units.
A tiny home development in southeast Columbus designed to solve a big problem, the lack of affordable housing for the homeless.
Vista Village is for individuals who want a second chance. We have individuals coming in from in homeless camps that are going to be referred to us. They were already transitioned out. We have individuals returning to society from incarceration, individuals in recovery, kids aging out of foster care, and veterans.
What's unique to this development is that it's not just housing. Its community center will provide residents with job training along with health, wellness, and life skills.
Vista Village is not permanent housing. It's called transitional housing, meaning people will live here between 18 and 24 months. The goal is after that, they'll have a job and be able to live independently.
A similar idea is taking shape on this property in Circleville.
We have a lot of veterans that need these additional services. They need longer time to have some stability and to have a community wrap around them so they can go out and be successful and keep housed.
Here, plans are in the works to build tiny homes for its homeless veteran population, which they ballpark at 50.
And we know that the numbers are much higher than that.
Today, homeless veterans live in this building where they share a common kitchen and TV room. Someday, they could live in tiny homes like these with mental health and job skills available on site. It was designed by students at Ohio State who studied similar projects across the country. The mayor says if the community doesn't act soon,
I think we will continue to see our homeless veterans not have adequate housing.
Organizers hope their housing solution will someday allow homeless veterans in Pickaway County to live independently and with dignity. Kevin Landers, 10 TV News.
Looks really nice, Kevin. Thank you. Now, other Central Ohio cities are also leaning into tiny homes to help combat the lack of housing. A project called Hands of Hope in Marion offers the same transitional housing for up to 6 months. The local bishop who brought this project to life spent the past year expanding resources for mental health, financial literacy, job skills, and much more. Well, this isn't the only way leaders across the region are working to manage affordability. The Columbus City Council says it's been working on its Housing for All initiative for years, and there are still several pieces of legislation to pass.
If you do a rental registry and you charge per unit on a rental registry, you are going to increase the cost to live for a tenant. And when those rents go up, that is going to cause more evictions. That is going to cause more people to have to be dispossessed from their housing.
Now, the hope is to crack down on so-called predatory bad actors. That includes making sure landlords notify their tenants of a rent increase. Also, adding housing wholesaler regulations and creating access to legal help in eviction court. You can find more on our website, 10tv.com. Well, this week, business and policy leaders met to discuss the state of Central Ohio's economic future as the population continues to grow. 10 TV went to the Columbus Metropolitan Club as they released a new benchmarking report for Central Ohio. Now, this compared Columbus to 20 other peer cities that are also booming. And one of the key findings focused on housing and how to keep costs down for those who are already living here.
Converting some of the office buildings that are no longer being used for cubicles, that could be great solutions for some housing developments, by reimagining some of our suburban business parks into mixed-use developments, and to think about density in a different way.
The Benchmarking Ohio report was published by the Columbus Foundation. And as many of you know, voters in Central Ohio passed CODA's LinkUS levy. It's an $8 billion plan that will pave the way for bus rapid transit over the next 25 years. Now, communities are preparing for how those changes will look. And this levy is not just for Columbus. It includes smaller communities like Hilliard, Whitehall, and Reynoldsburg. This week, 10 TV's Colin Dorsey went to Bexley to see how this plan will change the landscape there.
The higher sales tax to support the LinkUS initiative takes effect in January, bringing Columbus's sales tax to 8%, on par with the Cleveland area. Smaller communities like Bexley are also a part of that, with some changes.
Paula Rabideau is pedaling away, enjoying the weather while she can.
I could pick up a little bit of this trail and a little bit of the Olentangy Trail, but I had to get off-road and go through downtown.
Recently retired from OSU, she would regularly ride her bike from Bexley all the way to the university.
When the car lane crosses the bike lane, that's always a concerning spot where I really just slow down and make sure there's nobody around me before I pass through that intersection.
She's one of the very people the LinkUS plan aims to benefit. It will add protected bike lanes and improved trails for cyclists. Hillel Skolnick and his family bike to lunch. He's cautiously optimistic about the LinkUS plan, concerned about what changes for buses and bikes will do for traffic, but hopes it will make the streets better for his children.
At the end of the day, what I would want most of all is when my children go out on their bike or on their scooter, for them to have and nothing other than safety and security.
Dedicated bus lanes are a major key point of the LinkUS project, but Bexley Mayor Ben Kessler says a dedicated lane on Main Street Bexley just isn't feasible.
Main Street in Bexley has a narrower right-of-way than in many areas of Columbus, and so it does have to pivot a little bit, and there's some other areas along the route that are mixed traffic.
Buses will have to share the roadway with other drivers through here, just like they do now. Off the main street, Cassingham and Remington will see changes, raised intersections and bump outs to slow traffic down to make it safer for Bexley's youngest residents.
Transit-supported infrastructure like our Calm Corridors project, which is this awesome project. We're going to kind of traffic calm the corridor that links our 3 elementary schools.
The LinkUS plan has a timeline for these bike trail improvements and new bus lines to be up and running, or at least under construction in the next 5 years. In Bexley, Colin Dorsey, 10 TV News.
Colin, thank you. Now, COTA is also getting more than $1 million from ODOT. This is through a grant that's totaling $17 million in all. Most of that money will fund COTA's Rickenbacker Transit Hub. That hub will service COTA buses and other county buses. The remaining money will help fund bus stops across Franklin County, Some of that other money will go to Delaware County. That's another boomtown area. The transit board there is receiving nearly $1 million, and this will help buy 3 new vehicles for the Transit Flex service and replace 3 others. A portion of the ODOT money will also help study where else to expand, specifically to work centers in Delaware County. Finally, this week in Boomtown, we're going to leave you with this. As the need for infrastructure, transportation, housing, and much more booms, so does the appetite for culinary hotspots. Columbus, no stranger to fancy cuisine. New spots like Cobra, Littleton's Market Bakery, and also chefs like Andrew Smith of Isla have all earned praise on a national level. We're talking USA Today and organizations like the James Beard Foundation. Well, there is now a push to get Columbus on the map when it comes to the culinary arts. Experience Columbus says our foodie scene is a key draw for tourism in the capital city. And after all, they don't call Columbus Flavor Town for nothing. Well, we will be back next week when another episode of This Week in Boomtown drops, and you can always watch our 10 TV Plus original, Welcome to Boomtown, and see how we are seeking solutions for everyone in Central Ohio. I'm Angela Ann. Thanks for watching.